Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Hello Flash. Hello my friend. How are you today? I hope you all in a good condition. Okay. Okay. Uh, I'm Hana Aulia from Group 9. We will explain about our material that is talk and action. In our group there are two members. First is me and the second is Nur Siti Hidayani. Okay. Let's check it out. Okay, now our topic is about talk and action. And next, okay, as we know, in speaking to one another, we make use of sentences or, to be more precise, utterances. The utterances we use in conversation enable us to do these kinds of things because conversation itself has certain properties which are well worth examining. Our concern in this chapter is therefore twofold. The first, we will be concerned both with what utterances do and how they can be used, and specifically with how we use them in conversation. Okay, next. Okay, my topic is about speech acts. In linguistics, a speech act is an utterance defined in terms of a speaker's intention and the effect it has on a listener. Essentially, it is the action that the speaker hopes to provoke in his or her audience. Speech acts might be requests, warnings, promises, apologies, greetings, or any number of declarations. As you might imagine, speech acts are an important part of communication. Okay, speech act theory was introduced in 1975 by Oxford philosopher J.L. Austin in How to Do Things with Words, and further developed by American philosopher J.R. Searle. It considered three levels or components of utterances. Okay, the first is locutionary acts. Its the making of a meaningful statement saying something that a hearer understands, or it is a natural language. It is a natural utterances. Okay, and the second is illocutionary acts, saying something with a purpose such as to inform someone. And next is prolocutionary acts, or saying something that causes someone to act. Okay, next. According to Cyril, we perform different kinds of acts when we speak. To determine which way a speech act is to be interpreted, one must first determine the type of act being performed. Okay, here are the list of three levels component of speech act. The first is locutionary, illocutionary, and prolocutionary. Okay. Okay, the first is locutionary. The utterances we use are locutions. Most locutions express some intent that a speaker has. This is the natural meaning of utterance. As I said before, this is a natural meaning of utterance. Okay, for example, the phrase "don't go into the water," a locutionary act with distinct phonetic, syntactic, and semantic features count as warning to the listener not to go into the water. Okay. The next is illocutionary. Illocutionary acts then carry a directive for the audience. It might be a promise, an order, an apology, or an expression of thanks of, or merely an answer to question to inform the other person in the conversation. In speech act theory, a speaker's intention in delivering an utterance. Okay, you can look here the example of illocutionary. I will see you later. We could find three different assumptions of its meaning. The first, I predict that I will see you later, a prediction. And the second is I promise you that I will see you later. This is okay. And the second assumption is I promise you that I will see you later. This is a promise. And the third is I warn you that I will see you later. This is a warning. Okay. And the third is prolocutionary. Prolocutionary acts, on the other hand, bring about a consequence to the audience. They have an effect on the hearer in feelings, thoughts, or action. For example, changing someone's mind when we talk about something and the listener change his mind. Okay, the effect the utterance this is the effect the utterance has on the hearer. Okay, prolocutionary effect may be verbal and non-verbal. For example, for the verbal, I've bought a car. and the hearer will be said, great. This is a verbal perlocutionary effect. And the second is non-verbal. It's called hear. And the hearer will be close the window. Okay. It's all for me. Thanks a lot.
Okay, the second material is about cooperation. According to philosophers such as Greece, we are able to converse with one another because we recognize common goals and conversation as specific ways of achieving these goals. Greece, 1975, page 45, maintains that the overriding principle in conversation is one he calls the cooperative principle. He said, make your conversational contributions such as required at the stage at which occurs by the accepted purpose or direction of the talk exchange in which you are engaged. Or we can say that cooperative principle describes how people achieve effective conversational communication in common social situation, that is how listener and speaker act cooperatively and mutually accept one another to be understood in a particular way. Okay, the next slide. Here, Greece lists four maxims that follow from the cooperative principle. They are quantity, quality, relation, and manner. Okay, the first maxim is quantity. In quantity requires you to make your contribution as informative as is required. For example, at a particular stage, you need four screws. You accept me to hand you four rather than two or six. Okay, yeah, that is the example of the maxim of quantity. Okay, the second maxim is equality. Equality requires you to not say what you believe to be false or that for which you lack adequate evidence. For example, if I need sugar as an ingredient in the cake you are assisting me to make, I do not expect you to hand me salt. If I need a spoon, I do not expect a trick spoon made of rubber. Okay. And the third is relation. Relation is the simple injunction be relevant in conversation. For example, I expect a partner contribution to be appropriate to immediate needs at each step of transaction. If I if I am mixing ingredients for a cake, I do not expect to be handed a good book or even an open cloth. Thought this might be an appropriate contribution at a later stage. Okay, and the last is manner. Manner requires you to avoid obscurity of expression and ambiguity and to be brief and orderly. For example, I expect a partner to make it clear what contribution he is making and to execute his performance with reasonable dispatch. Okay, this principle and these maxims characterize ideal exchanges. Such exchanges will also observe certain other principles too, such as be polite.